the boy who learned to walk forward. Rin was known as the boy who always stopped halfway through dreams, halfway through effort, halfway through life. From the outside, everything looked normal. The city buzzed with energy, trains arrived on time, people chased their futures with purpose. But Rin stood still, watching the world move past him. As if everyone else had received instructions, he never did. Each morning, he followed the same streets, feet tracing familiar cracks in the pavement, eyes fixed on the ground, afraid of what might happen if he looked ahead. At school, his presence blended into the background, not ignored out of cruelty, but overlooked through habit. Teachers expected little. Classmates remembered him only when he was absent. Rin told himself that was fine. Expectations were heavy. Dreams were risky. Standing still felt safer than choosing the wrong direction. At home, unfinished projects filled his room. A guitar with dust-covered strings. A notebook with stories that ended too soon. Shoes meant for running that had never touched a track. Each object whispered the same quiet question. What if you had kept going? But Rin avoided the answer, because moving forward meant failing where others could see. One evening, as the city glowed beneath fading sunlight, Rin found himself standing at a crosswalk longer than usual. The signal turned green. People walked past him, yet his feet refused to move. The moment stretched. Cars waited, horns echoed, and for the first time, the stillness felt unbearable. He noticed a child tugging at a parent's hand, laughing as they stepped forward without hesitation. No fear of stumbling, no fear of being wrong. That small moment struck something deep inside him. Once, long ago, he had walked like that too. That night, Rin couldn't sleep. The ceiling above him felt heavier than ever, pressing down with all the chances he had abandoned. He realized something painful and simple. Fear had not stopped him because it was strong. Fear had stopped him because he listened. The next morning arrived quietly. No dramatic music, no sudden confidence, just another ordinary day waiting to be lived. As Rin stood at the edge of his routine, the familiar voice of doubt returned, urging him to stay still, to wait, to delay, to remain safe. But another thought followed, softer yet clearer. Standing still is also a choice. And for the first time, he chose differently. He took a step, then another. It wasn't graceful, it wasn't brave, but it was forward. At school, he raised his hand even when unsure. At home, he played a single note on the guitar, then another. He wrote one line instead of an entire story. Nothing miraculous happened. The world didn't pause. No one applauded. Yet something shifted inside him. Days turned into weeks, weeks into quiet momentum. Failure still appeared, often and unapologetically. But now, it no longer meant stop. Rin learned that confidence was not a feeling. It was a habit built from small, repeated movement. One evening, he returned to the same crosswalk. The signal turned green. Cars waited. This time, Rin didn't hesitate. He walked forward as the city flowed around him, not certain of where he was going, but certain he was no longer standing still. The road ahead remained unclear. Dreams were still unfinished. Fear still walked beside him, but fear no longer led. Rin understood something at last. Life doesn't reward those who wait to be ready. It opens paths for those willing to move. And as he disappeared into the crowd, no longer paused, no longer frozen, he carried a quiet truth with him. Progress isn't about speed, it's about direction. And even the smallest step forward can change everything.